Hello everyone, this is Raptorial, and we are gonna take a short break from all the unimaginable chaos of the world. Well, not completely unimaginable, but it really does take your mind for a loop, doesn't it? So anyway, this is going to be step 4 in the building of my customized Seto Kaiba character deck. This is going to be the virtual world deck. These are the cards from those that Kaiba picked for his virtual world deck. He still had Obelisk the Tormentor in the real world at this point, but it will not be in this deck. I did not include the giant germs because I couldn't get a hold of those through the site I usually order cards from, and I don't particularly like them. I don't really like the virus strategy. I'm much more interested in the dragon strategy, and of course in the last couple of years we've had a lot of Blue Eyes support come out, and we will get to the versions of the decks that use a lot of Blue Eyes support. I'm really excited about those. A lot of the dragon support in this deck came out in the expansion set Legacy of Darkness. Legacy of Darkness just did wonders for dragon support. But let's do the trap cards first. So looking on Yu-Gi-Oh! Wikia, Kaiba's virtual world deck, we have Soul Demolition that he used to defeat Exodia, actually. Oh, I did forget his duel against Gozaburo. This was the trap card that defeated Exodia Necros, or allowed it to be defeated by the Blue Eyes White Dragon, Sweet Revenge. We are keeping the 3 Blue Eyes. We'll get to those. Reign of Destruction. Classic Kaiba trap, especially when combined with the Reign of Defense spell card. Negate Attack. This was, at the time of the anime, still sometimes depicted as a spell card. I'm not sure why, but it is trap. Last Turn. Kaiba thought was going to defeat Noah until Noah brought out his Shinato, King of a Higher Plane. It's an interesting trap card. It can only be played in the at the tail end of a duel. Can only be activated during your opponent's turn when your life points are 1,000 or less. Select one monster on your side of the field and send all the other cards on the field and in their respective owners' hands to their respective graveyards. Your opponent must then special summon one monster from his or her deck in face-up attack position and attack your selected monster. Any battle damage from this battle is treated as 0. The player whose monster remains alone on the field at the end phase of the turn wins the duel. Any other case results in a draw. So, now there was a strategy to use this in combination with Jaugen the Spiritualist, which Kaiba never used. I think for Kaiba it was just too situational. And usually by the last turn he has something that can beat it with power. I don't know. Playing this really does depend on your opponent having nothing in their deck that can beat the monster you select. So unless you've got something really overwhelming, I mean, I just don't know. But the artwork is 2 spirit monsters, Hino Kagusuchi fighting the Yamata Dragon. Now the Yamata Dragon is Yamata no Orochi. The 8-headed dragon that I do think in the Japanese mythology was defeated by Hino Kagusuchi, so the artwork does have a legendary origin. It's always awesome. Dragon's Rage gives all dragons the piercing ability. Awesome in a dragon deck. Crush card, of course. And Burst Breath. The first trap card that Kaiba tried to defeat Exodia Necros with. I mean, as I said, Legacy of Darkness was really interesting for dragon support. In the 5Ds era, when there were a lot of really low level, really low attack and defense point monsters with very unique abilities, this was probably pretty powerful to play with the right combination. But now that we've got so many Synchro, Xyz, Pendulum, and I'm not keeping up with all the new different types of monsters that are created, since levels, ranks, attack, defense points are really all over the place now, I don't know. It was pretty cool when it was first released. I don't know how effective, or how reliable, I should say, would be today. I don't know. The Flute of Summoning Dragon. Usually you just include one in a Kaiba deck. There's so many ways to special summon dragons now that you really don't need two. Kaiba did use two during Battle City, but the Lord of Dragons. Let's see, where is the Lord of Dragons? Ah, there it is. The Lord of Dragons and Dragon Flute combination was incredible when the game first came out. And it's still pretty cool to play in dragon decks. Shrink. Pot of Greed. Polymerization and Diffusion. Was actually used by Yugi, summoning the Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon to defeat Noah. Monster Reborn. Heavy Storm. I kind of prefer Mystical Space Typhoons, which Kaiba did use in Yu-Gi-Oh! The movie, the one with the Blue Eyes Shining Dragon. Why didn't they have him keep Blue Eyes Shining Dragon? It was awesome. And a Wing Beater Giant Dragon. Those are the trap and spell cards. Now for the monsters. Vampire Lord. Only time we saw Kaiba use this. There's now a whole vampire archetype, and we might explore a vampire deck sometime in the future. I'm not quite sure. I did also want to build a what are the trick-or-treat monsters called? The I have a couple of them. Ghost Trick. I'll try to build vampire deck and a Ghost Trick deck. Maybe I'll release them around Halloween. That'd be cool to look at them. Twin-headed Behemoth. Not a very powerful monster, but does resurrect itself once. So pretty cool for combinations and for tributes. The Three Thunder Dragons. And Kaiba nearly defeated Noah with these. They're still pretty amazing as deck thinners and in Thunder decks, even in Dragon decks. There's a trap card called D-Tribe, Dragon Tribe. I don't know why they use the one-letter abbreviations from time to time, it does get irritating. But with that trap card, you can transform all monsters to dragon types. So make the twin-headed thunder dragon from a thunder into a dragon type, and combined with the Dragon's Rage, we'll get piercing. It's also pretty cool in a dinosaur deck. If you dinosaur and dragon deck, dinosaurs by themselves don't need dragon tribe and Dragon's Rage, but do a combo deck. It's pretty cool to turn your dinosaurs into dragons. I used to do that. The Wicked Worm Beast, which came out in the 2002 starter deck Kaiba. Curiously, it has the effect of returning to the hand. That's a spirit monster effect. And there really wasn't a way to use this when the game first came out. I don't know why they gave it that ability. Spirit Ryu, or Ryu, lets you discard dragons from your hand, and in the turn that you do, it gains 1,000 attack points for every dragon discarded. It's designed to be a one-turn kill ability, and if you can time it right, if you can pull it off, it's pretty devastating. Spear Dragon, which looks more like a pterosaur than a dragon. But it is a power and piercing monster. Does fit with Kaiba's theme. Slate Warrior. I don't quite get why this card looks the way it does, but a lot of people like this monster. Kaiba never used it that much afterwards. Possessed Dark Soul. This is another monster that would have been really interesting to put in decks around the 5Ds era, because there were all these really low-level monsters. It takes control of level 3 or lower monsters if you tribute it. I wasn't really playing that much around the era. Well, I was, but it was at home. I was teaching my younger half-siblings to play, and but really didn't use this. We did have 5Ds themed decks around at the time, but it's a fiend, and personally, I have a dragon and dinosaur deck. In fact, when I went to Gen Con this summer, the Gen Con 2017, I will be going to Gen Con 2018 as well, now that the Legend of the Five Rings game has been relaunched. I picked up the new dinosaur theme deck, and got some Jurak monsters. I'm trying to work on a completely new version of my deck. It's tricky because now there are so many options. It was frustrating when Yu-Gi-Oh! First came out. There were barely any dinosaur monsters and not a lot of dragons that were worth using either. Usually they were too weak for the number of tributes they needed. But as time went on, eventually they came out with some really cool dinosaurs, and I'm trying to... well, there were the Juraks. I also used to use Gladiator Beast, Hiplomus and Spartacus, combination with Geodiaz. Those were interesting decks. Now I need to restructure all my combinations because now we have a lot of options to choose from, and it's proving tricky to pick exactly what I want. Kaiser Seahorse. Acts as a double tribute for a light attribute monster. Kaiba used it to summon Blue Eyes. Ancient Lamp. and La Jin, the mystical genie of the lamp. Ancient lamp can summon La Jin. It can get a quick 2 tributes. Cyberjar. I think most of us know what this does. Different Dimension Dragon. I wish this was 4-star. I wish you didn't have to tribute for this. It'd be a lot cooler if you didn't have to. But there are trap monsters now, and there are interesting combinations. It's not that much of a hindrance, but when it first came out, I did really want it to be 4 stars instead of 5 stars. Vorse Raider. Classic Kaiba beatdown monster. And now there's a new version, Kaiser Vorse Raider, which we will get to when we do the Dark Side of Dimensions deck. Luster Dragon number 2. And Hyozanru. And of course, the 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. 2 of these are from the Blue Eyes structure deck, and this one came from the Kaiba the Revenge CD so long ago. Still have it, and they're all awesome. So, Ring of Defense. Those there. Now, I did count the monsters, spells, and trap cards, and the deck is, I believe, 4 cards short of 40. Either 4 or 2 cards. Let's see. A quick count. Just grouping them in 5s. Oh, we have a couple extra that I thought. Alright, so this currently has 16 spells and traps. And I did say I did not include the giant germs. I probably won't get them because I don't care about them. There are other monsters that can that can summon each other and oh, you know what there is? There is a Troop Dragon that could be interesting. That came out in Legacy of Darkness to combine with this deck. Could be interesting. Kaiba never used them, but could still be interesting. Okay, so we have 22 monsters in all in this deck. And 16 spells and traps. So we are 2 short. Alright, since this deck is not going to include the giant germs, I actually did think of a replacement. Kaiba does use. Let's see. Looking for where I put them. I have cards all over my computer. And uniquely, BlackBerry has not jumped up on the computer and spilled them yet. Ah. Here we go. Dark Blade and Pitch Dark Dragon. Now, Kaiba does use Pitch Dark Dragon in the Atlantis arc. I don't know if he ever actually used Dark Blade, but Dark Blade combines with Pitch Dark Dragon via polymerization to summon Dark Blade the Dragon Knight, which does have an interesting ability. Each time this monster inflicts battle damage to your opponent, you can select up to 3 monster cards from your opponent's graveyard and remove them from play. So this could have actually... this kind of has the soul demolition effect. And you don't have to pay life points to do it. So this might have actually been an easier way to take out Exodia Necros. I haven't tested it yet, but... if we add those to this deck, we'll have 40 cards. But we have 4 too many monsters. So, take out 4 monsters overall. Let's see, what do we want to take out? Thinking of what Kaiba has and hasn't used. Oh, we'll take out the Wicked Worm Beast. Just add it in there because Kaiba technically had it. There's really no reason to keep that. Let's see. Take out 4. I don't believe Kaiba ever actually used Possessed Dark Soul again. So the Virtual World deck would have it, but we're gonna move on in a little bit with the Atlantis arc, and Kaiba doesn't keep that. He does keep Different Dimension Dragon, which is awesome to see again. He summons it against darts. Don't know about Cyberchar. I do want to keep Darkblade and Pitch Dark Dragon for now. I'm actually going to take out I'm actually going to take out Lodgin and Ancient Lamp. He doesn't often summon those again after this, unless I was missing something, maybe. But I also do want to continue to make the deck more dragon themed, and they don't really support it that much. They are Ancient Lamp does special summon Lodgin for a double sacrifice, but we're gonna have better options real soon. So, okay. Now, what for these? So, okay. So, for the extra deck, we're keeping Darkblade the Dragon Knight, even though Kaiba didn't use it. It is one that fits with this deck, and fits with his theme. Twin-Headed Thunder Dragon, and of course, Blue Eyes Ultimate Dragon, that ultimately defeated Noah. So, in the Spill and Trap cards, what should we add? We need to add 4 more cards to finally balance this deck. Yes, that's 16. So, okay. Well, let's return some of the Battle City spells and traps. Let's give Kaiba back Enemy Controller, Soul Exchange, let's see. Well, cloning is always useful. And lastly, I kind of have a tie between Aqua Chorus and Shadow Spell. Aqua Chorus is the card that increases the attack points of monsters on the field with the same name by 500. So, if Kaiba ever summons all 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons to the field as separate dragons, this gives them all 3,500 attack points. Whereas Shadow Spell is a trap that will stop an enemy monster in its tracks and reduce its attack by 700. Aqua Chorus Kaiba never actually uses in the anime, but it is another card that came with the Kaiba the Revenge disc. So, this was kind of nice to keep it in a Kaiba deck. But I would have to take one out to do this. I will eventually take out Last Turn. Maybe not quite yet. Let's take out Soul Demolition because we actually have Darkblade the Dragon Knight to kind of do the same thing. So, this is the 40 card Seto Kaiba customized character deck. It's my own twist on the Kaiba deck. Commenters have told me before that this doesn't exactly line up with the cards in the deck Kaiba had at the time, but this is all to make my own twist on Kaiba's deck. So, to finish up, let's go through everything one more time. "40 card Virtual World Kaiba deck. Dragon's Rage, Crush card, Burst Breath, Ring of Destruction, Negate Attack, Cloning, Last Turn, Shadow Spell, Aqua Chorus. Heavy Storm, Ring of Defense, Shrink, Pot of Greed, Enemy Controller, Soul Exchange, Diffusion and Polymerization, Monster Reborn, the Flute of Summoning Dragon, a Wing Beetle Giant Dragon. Vampire Lord, Twin-Headed Behemoth, Spirit Ryu, Pitch Dark Dragon, Dark Blade, that I also prefer to Cave Dragon, Cyberjar, Vorse Raider, Slate Warrior, three Thunder Dragons, Luster Dragon number 2, Hyozanru, Lord of Dragons, Kaiser Seahorse, Spear Dragon, Different Dimension Dragon, 3 Blue Eyes White Dragons. and the 3 extra deck monsters. And next will be the Seto Kaiba Atlantis Arc deck.